I find myself questioning what paths of life would be best suited towards a peaceful and prosperous future. And then I realized everybody's journey is different, so nobody would have that answer but me. Well, except God, but he hasn't responded in a minute. If I'm gonna be carving out my own path, then I need the mental tools to keep my wits about me. I'm here to see if philosophy is one of those tools I can equip to fight these mental battles I seem to be in. So here we are, finally diving into a world that I glanced at and walked away from. See, the thing is, my belief that philosophy is just a bunch of malarkey said by, oh, I'm so deep type of people still burns within me like a never-ending fire, bro. But I have the ability to recognize when I'm wrong. No, I don't. I'm still working on that. And I'm getting better. So please be patient with me. I ain't no explaining type of channel, but let me explain something right quick on this channel. Philosophy has 10 schools, like different subjects essentially. I could be wrong. I don't know. I literally learned this like 3 minutes ago. But nihilism, existentialism, Stoicism, hedonism, Marxism, logical positivism, Taoism, rationalism, relativism, and Buddhism. Jesus, why did I choose to learn about all this, bro? Let's lock in. Ferb Fletcher. From Phineas and Ferb Fletcher, and the power of Stoicism. Talk to me.
Epictetus, an ancient philosopher, once said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgments about them." The people who truly resonate with this quote classify themselves as Stoics. In simple terms, Stoicism is the ability to endure pain or hardship without letting our emotions get the better of us. One character that does this very well is Ferb, one of the main characters from the popular Disney cartoon Phineas and Ferb. He doesn't talk much, but you know what they say, quiet people have the loudest minds. One thing you'll notice immediately with Ferb's character is how calmly he reacts to both good and bad situations. One way he does this is by displaying optimism similar to the way his brother does, but there's a difference between optimism that's genuine and optimism that sounds kind of half-assed and sarcastic. Genuine optimism is about looking on the bright side of things, not necessarily in a happy-go-lucky, the world is perfect way, but more in a relaxed or determined kind of way. For example, here's a moment in the show where Ferb expresses his genuine optimism when the other characters feel like quitting.
Maybe we should just give up.
Give up? Give up? The day may come when we'll give up on fruitless searches after...
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I always resonated with Ferb. I love this. I was really like trying to withhold my excitement for even seeing this because I'm thinking this nigga really finna be talking some bullshit, but he's really like actually doing Ferb justice. I love this. Ferb is my favorite character of all time.
The day may come when we'll give up on fruitless searches after a mere 11 minutes, but that day is not today.
Facts.
Something else I appreciate about Ferb is how he doesn't overreact when something doesn't go his way. Take this scene for example. After Vanessa, his love interest, leaves unexpectedly, Ferb makes a conscious choice to respond without any emotion.
Hey, Ferb, where's Vanessa?
She went off with someone else.
That's too bad. I thought the two of you, you know, a boy, a girl, alone in the city of love, I thought romance was a foregone conclusion.
Normally, if you miss your chance to connect with
Phineas
someone you
was so
have
damn
romantic
oblivious,
feelings
bro.
for, it's only natural to get bummed out. But Ferb responds by keeping a level head. He's very vague in his response, but for the sake of his own mental health, that's very wise to do. Normally, as humans, we tend to overthink certain situations.
Bro.
And because of this, we ultimately create suffering
We hurt
for
ourselves
ourselves.
more than the
Phineas
reality
is
does.
actually the one overreacting here, which creates another point. Just because someone else overreacts doesn't mean we have to participate or share that negative energy. One powerful way to make the most out of an unfortunate situation is to make a joke out of it. This is something Ferb is an expert at.
Bro, I do that all the time. I don't know how to like, you know, like humor is how I find my coping. It's like my coping mechanism. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Humor is my coping mechanism.
Is to make a joke out of it. This is something Ferb is an expert at.
You know, in retrospect, I question the inclusion of a self-destruct button in the first place.
I haven't eaten a badger in a week. Let's go.
The public is fickle.
I want to clear up a common misconception
That's a
about
fact, too.
Stoicism. It is not about suppressing or ignoring our emotions. We are human. It is okay to feel sad, frustrated, or disappointed when something doesn't go our way. But the point is, a true Stoic knows how to take those emotions and to transmute them in a way that will set themselves up for success. Just because Ferb is a master Stoic, that doesn't mean he doesn't have emotions. He just knows how to control them. For example, during this scene,
Yeah. Hold on. I'm liking Stoicism so far. So it seems to be about standing tall despite the storm.
but the point is, a true Stoic knows how to take those emotions and to transmute them in a way that will set themselves up for success. Just because Ferb is a master Stoic, that doesn't mean he doesn't have emotions. He just knows how to control them. For example, during this scene where an army of zombies is chasing after him, he's scared and has no problem admitting that.
I'm petrified beyond all capacity for rational thought.
But he still sacrifices himself because he knows it's the right thing to do. He has courage, which is one of the 4 virtues of a Stoic: wisdom, moderation, justice, and courage. As you saw earlier, moderation, justice, and courage.
Yeah. I like those virtues: wisdom, moderation, justice, and courage.
Stoic: wisdom, moderation, justice, and courage. As you saw earlier in this video, he definitely has his moments of wisdom. In regards to moderation, Ferb makes the most out of what he has. Like a minimalist, you can
Wait. Is Ferb Phineas's biological brother? Because they don't look anything alike. Was the mom smashing on other dudes? Yo, I love Phineas and Ferb, bro. Ferb is his stepbrother.
wisdom. In regards to moderation, Ferb makes the most out of what he has. Like a minimalist. You can see an example of this in pretty much every episode. After the boys are done with their amazing invention of the day, it almost always disappears by the end of the episode. But they have the ability to let it go and think about what they are going to build next, because they realize the memories are what's most important. This virtue is about the ability to detach from material items and the approval of others. Justice is about being fair. It is about...
Hold on. I ain't gonna lie, he's spitting right now. Nah, he's spitting right now. Hold on.
Virtue is about the ability to detach from material items and the approval of others. Justice is about being fair. It is about seeing the bigger picture rather than to take advantage of those who have wronged us. It is the quality of doing what feels right rather than settling for what feels comfortable and safe for our survival. For Ferb, justice can be as simple as taking care of a lake-nosed monster, despite the dangers that come with that responsibility.
Well, if such a creature did exist, I believe its habitat and safety would be all of our responsibility to look after and protect.
Ferb is also a very patient character. He's patient with what other people think about him, he's patient about speaking only when he feels it's appropriate, and he's patient with any other external forces that try and slow him down. He's just interested in experiencing the world and everything it has to offer. He doesn't judge the world. He observes, he gathers information, and he enjoys the journey. Quiet people get a bad rep nowadays. Usually when someone is or does something different than the majority of people, it's considered weird or cringe or there's something wrong with them. But this show portrays quiet people to be badass, which I appreciate. Ferb truly doesn't give a damn about what anyone thinks of him. All he cares about is experiencing the world, maximizing his potential with what he can create, and living life to the fullest, which is something that I personally resonate with in his character.
Yeah,
he isn't
I do
focused
too. I
on the
do too.
things that are not in his control, whether that be criticism, mysterious forces destroying his invention every day, or anything else that would piss the average person off. Instead, he has the wisdom to realize it's all about mindset. If Ferb was real, it would be very difficult to say or do something to him that will ruin his life, because he has trained his mind to take a bad situation and turn it into something positive, or something that can be laughed at. His peace of mind is what makes him invincible.
See, okay, I see what it is. Okay, there's an image that's popping up in my head. I'm gonna talk out loud and see if I can make it make sense. So life could be considered an ocean, right? Waves are emotions. Everybody can float. However, due to the unpredictability of life, emotions can drown you quickly, easily. Stoics have the ability to accept that and swim back up to the top and continue to try floating. Does that make any sense? Stoicism, become undefeatable. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca.
In the city of Cyprus in 300 BC,
Who the hell is Seneca, bro? Why was he called Seneca the Younger? Interesting. I just learned about a dude named Seneca the Young, bro. Dude's pretty cool. He's like a Stoic philosopher. That dude, yeah.
in the city of Cyprus in 300
like,
BC, there lived a very wealthy trader called Zeno.
Stoic and whatnot.
While on a voyage from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his boat sank, along with all of his cargo. Because of that single event, an event that was entirely out of Zeno's or anyone's control, this very wealthy man suddenly became poor in an instant.
Damn.
Imagine you were Zeno. How would you react to your entire life's work getting flushed down the drain by the sheer force of nature?
I'd be pissed.
What is the proper reaction? Would you be angry, sad? Would you feel life has cheated you? For most of us, these would all be normal reactions. But not for Zeno, the father of Stoicism.
What?
One
He's
small
the
change
father of
lasts an eternity,
Stoicism?
and one small reframing of your mindset can cascade into larger and more impactful changes later down the line. The core of Stoicism is the very definition of acceptance and indifference. After reading the works of Socrates and other great philosophers, Zeno created and taught Stoicism. According to Zeno, although we don't have much control over what happens to us, we do have control of how it affects us, and we must use this control to great effect. Rather than crying over spilled milk, or in this case, drowned goods, Zeno focused on maintaining his composure over the situation, remaining calm and neutral, despite his predicament. Today, people inadvertently view Stoics as people who cannot be broken, people who don't often linger to the emotional extremes, going through things like fits of rage or bouts of anxiety. But the original idea behind Stoicism was much more than that. Rather than just a way to describe people who are unemotional, Stoicism was a way to view, describe, and understand the world. It was a way of life, and that way of life has lasted for centuries. Stoic philosophy can be applied to situations today the same way it was applied thousands of years ago, and its benefits are just as impactful. Stoicism allows us to process these negative emotions from negative experiences, and turn them into the thoughts that give us a unique perspective of the world.
I'm locked in. I'm really locked in right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh wow, I spoke perfectly. He stopped talking when I...
Perspective is everything, and everyone in the world has different experiences and thus different perspectives on things. Since the Stoics gathered, discussed, and taught philosophy in a public place, their general philosophy was widely known. They believed that the Stoic principles could greatly benefit anyone and everyone, and so it didn't make sense for them to hide that knowledge behind the four walls of a school or of the palace courtyards. As a result, everyone from slave to emperor could learn and become a Stoic. And they did. Some of the world's most notable Stoics include
But
Epictetus.
what are some of the practices though? Like, cause it don't seem like there's all I'm learning is about the overall knowledge of what Stoicism is and what the benefits are. But what are some of the actual practices?
And they did.
Please tell me, Mr.
Some of the world's
Aperture.
most notable Stoics include Epictetus, which translates to acquired, as he was once owned as a slave. Seneca, who was a well-renowned statesman.
I just learned about
and
him.
Marcus
Seneca
Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most powerful men to have ever lived.
Marcus Aurelius.
The early Stoics practiced what they preached, avoiding all forms of segregation and leading the fight against inequality. They even invented the word cosmopolitan, which literally means citizen of the world. When people hear that word now, we think of cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London because of how diverse they are. This was the type of unity and togetherness that the Stoics preached. Even at a time when it wasn't popular, women were allowed to freely learn about Stoicism and become Stoics themselves.
Wow.
So why do so many people adopt Stoicism as a way of life?
Talk to me.
In a world full of unexpected turns of events, our emotions can tend to get in the way of things.
That's a fact.
In reality, we don't really get sad because bad things happen to us. We get sad because unexpected bad things happen to us. Rain is a good thing. It helps to water our plants, provides water for livestock, and keeps the temperature cool and humid. But the truth is, when that dark cloud catches you outside without an umbrella, it's never a good experience.
Very true.
So why don't we start crying once it starts to rain? It's because although the situation is bad, we've learned to expect rain. It's something that is unavoidable. We can't control the weather.
True.
Although it sucks, the rain passes and the light returns.
Yeah, because as legit, sometimes you put on your rain boots and go run in the rain, and that'd be fun. You didn't consider that a bad time, even though if you look up, it's nothing but clouds and grayness. That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Although it sucks, the rain passes and the light returns. Stoicism teaches us that, in the same way, we should expect that everything bad that can happen will happen. Picture the worst outcome, and be content knowing it could happen. One of the Stoic exercises is known as voluntary.
Oof. I ain't gonna lie. Picture the worst outcome and be content that it could happen. The worst outcome isn't even me dying. It's literally me not being able to do YouTube anymore. Be content not being able to do YouTube. I don't know about that.
We should expect that everything bad that can happen will happen. Picture the worst outcome, and be content knowing it could happen.
That's crazy.
One of the Stoic exercises is known as voluntary discomfort, an exercise aimed at increasing feelings of gratitude. Sleep on the floor of your kitchen, taking cold showers when you normally take hot ones, eat nothing but potatoes for a few days, things like this. This exercise helps you to understand that no matter how hard it gets, you'll still survive and potentially thrive if your mindset is right. By being able to withstand these uncomfortable situations, we indirectly prepare our mental for future misfortunes. With the current state of the world where advertisements are constantly being shoved down our throats, we're made to believe that if we don't have the next—
Hold on. Okay. Sometimes random memories pop up and they don't go away. If we were to picture it like visually, it'd be me trying to run from like some big dark cloud essentially. What he's saying is let the cloud embrace me. It's almost like sipping poison until you become immune to all poisons, bro. What the
potentially
hell?
thrive if your mindset is right. By being able to withstand these uncomfortable situations, we indirectly prepare our mental for future misfortunes. With the current state of the world where advertisements are constantly being shoved down our throats, we're made to believe that if we don't have the next best thing, look a certain way, or make a certain amount of money, that we will never be happy. This message is more important now than ever. We enter the world not knowing much of anything. We grow up being taught things at home, in school, and by observing the world for ourselves. The thing is, a lot of times, all three of these sources of knowledge teach us in different ways. The question is, do we need to internalize all of this knowledge? If we do, we could unknowingly be setting unrealistic expectations for our lives, leaving us ultimately disappointed and unsatisfied in the end. That's no way to live.
Facts.
We should
That's a
instead
fact.
focus on improving ourselves, for ourselves. We should do things for ourselves and only for that reason. Attaching any external hope or secondary attachments to the actions we take almost always lead to disappointment. Most of the time, we end up trying to fulfill that emptiness with external things, blowing all your money on a fancy car, a house, or even starting a family. Sometimes we do all of these things for their external value and not their internal value. But Stoicism teaches that if you approach life this way, you place your happiness in the hands of external forces, forces that can always fail. Cars almost always break down.
Oh,
Natural disasters
shit.
wipe away entire
Hold on, bro. Nah, Stoicism right now is spitting, bro. It's creating a lot of thoughts in my
external
brain.
forces, forces that can always
like it.
fail. Cars almost always break down. Natural disasters wipe away entire cities, and
Fact,
divorce rates
damn.
climb higher and higher each year.
Damn.
But even the free things in life come at a cost. The cost of space, both physical and mental. As Seneca once wrote, learning to live with less will create space in your life for the things that truly matter to you.
Hey.
Instead, we must
My
place our
dog,
happiness
Seneca.
on our intrinsic value as humans and on nothing we have or can physically acquire. We must choose to do our best to keep a cool head, regardless of what life throws at us. Because regardless of what it is we want, at the end of the day, we don't have any control over the majority of things that happen to us, but we do have all the control over how we react to those things. That is the dichotomy of control, the most important principle in Stoic philosophy. Stoics teach that we must learn to separate what we control from what we cannot control,
Look at the captions.
the most important principle in Stoic philosophy.
It changes. Identify and separate matters so that I can stay clear to myself under my control, which have to do with the choices I actually control.
Stoics teach that we must learn to separate
Why doesn't he say that part?
what we control from what we cannot control. We need to determine our value not from things we can't control, but from the things we can. Striving towards goals is a good trait, but breaking down when those things don't go your way is, in a Stoic's point of view, useless. Making YouTube videos is, well, a lot easier than being a Roman emperor, but it can still prove to be challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
First, you must form your idea, which takes forever.
Yeah.
Then research that idea. Scrap it because it sucks. Start over, script the video, create the video, edit it, make the title, thumbnail, and everything else before you hit upload.
Uh-huh.
Everything up until the point where you click upload is all up to you. However, once you click that upload button, the power shifts to the YouTube algorithm. Still, a lot of people judge the success of their YouTube channel or Instagram account based on how many views and subscribers or followers they have, metrics of which, for the most part, are beyond your control. Stoics teach that instead, you should judge the success of your work based on the amount of effort you put in.
Oh.
Stoics teach that instead, you should judge the success of your work based on the amount of effort you put in, and not on the outcome of your external hopes. Trust the process. Think about a person who has been working hard at their job for the past 6 months. He now feels he deserves a promotion, and so he walks up to his boss with his performance report. The boss says thanks, doesn't grant him the promotion, and he goes home thinking he must suck at his job.
Damn.
He doesn't consider that the boss might have simply woken up angry, someone else might have been better qualified at the time, or maybe the company was just losing money and couldn't afford it. He doesn't know the reason, but he's still upset.
Yeah.
If he simply placed his value on the quality of the performance report he turned in, kept doing what he was doing to earn the promotion he wanted, he could have been much happier overall.
Yeah.
With the right perspective, his goal wouldn't have been diminished, but just postponed. It's this reframing of your mindset that is crucial. A true Stoic does not view their successes based on the financial gain of their ventures, but is comforted by the fact that they can live a comfortable life without all the things money can buy.
I ain't gonna lie, this dude's spitting, bro. He's really talking that.
These are the four main virtues of Stoicism: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom is being able to separate between what is internal and what is external, and the ability to choose our reaction to the things that happen to us. As Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and that space is our power to choose our response. Courage. 2 words: persist and resist. Temperance, or moderation, is what I just did there, doing more with less, saying more with fewer words. While Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are fighting at the top of the Forbes list, Stoics believe that the limit of wealth should simply be having what is essential, and then having what is enough. Justice is the most important of all the virtues. It instructs that no one should do harm to another because we were all born for each other, to do good to one another, and not to ourselves. Nelson Mandela was one of the most famous African leaders in the world.
That's my dog right
While
there.
he was fighting against apartheid, he got sentenced to life imprisonment, where he stayed for 27 years before finally being released. When he was released from prison, he was elected president of South Africa, and thus, Many people thought he was going to brutally punish all the people that had anything to do with apartheid or his imprisonment. But of course, he did not. Throughout his time in prison, Mandela read the works of Marcus Aurelius and learned many of the core values of Stoicism.
That's the second time I've seen his name. Now I gotta look him up. You know what I'm saying? Caesar Marcus Aurelius Antonius Augustus. God dang, nigga. Alright, learned about him. Dude named Marcus Aurelius. Apparently he wrote Meditations, one of the greatest philosophical books of all time. It was really a diary of just his innermost thought. A lot of Stoic values that he got from some religious former slave called Epictetus. Should I look up Epictetus? I'm gonna look up Epictetus because that's the second time I've seen his name too. We must bear in mind that apart from the will that there is nothing good or bad, and that we must not try to anticipate or to direct events, but merely to accept them with intelligence. Damn. Alright, Epictetus. Now you spitting too. Epictetus is spitting, I ain't gonna lie. Hold on.
Mandela read the works of Marcus Aurelius and learned many of the core values of Stoicism, all of which he practiced throughout his life. Instead of calling for the heads of the wrongdoers, Nelson Mandela urged his people to instead seek the opposite, to relax and rebuild.
Wow.
He stressed that the past was now beyond their control, and that the only thing they could do was find a way to move forward and build a better nation.
Yeah.
This is the way of the Stoic. In modern-day medicine, Stoicism is at the core of procedures like rational emotive behavioral therapy and logotherapy. REBT helps patients to identify negative thought patterns that might be causing emotional and behavioral issues. It allows you to challenge the reasoning behind all these negative thoughts with logic, and when you realize that many of them are unfounded, you can then replace them with more productive and healthier beliefs. Logotherapy, on the other hand, is based on the Stoic principle that humans are driven by purpose. Even in the darkest of situations, we can fill our lives with meaning and happiness by simply finding out what that purpose is. As many of us know, though, this is easier said than done.
Yeah, I was about to say,
it's a process, much like everything else. We have to rewire the way we think, out with the old, in with the new. To fix our problems with happiness, we must practice self-worth. By redirecting our definition of value to the things that we can control, we can stop getting fixated on the things we cannot control, and overall, we can lead a much happier and more fulfilling life. Stoicism helps us steer through past and present storms into calmer and more peaceful waters. And if our ship sinks and we all drown, we can take peace in the fact that we lived a good life, albeit not as long as we had hoped. Because remember, everything has an end.
Damn. What need is there to weep over parts of life when the whole of it calls for tears? Nigga, that was incredible. What the f? We're watching more.
Today's internet landscape bombards us with motivational quotes and videos, which are intended to inspire and get things done. But motivation only gets one started. To accomplish something, we need to put in work. Working towards a goal requires effort and repetition.
Yes.
And aside from some exceptions, there often aren't any shortcuts to attaining a significant goal, like mastering driving or finishing an academic education. We may be highly motivated, but we'll get nowhere if we don't act. Many people struggle with engaging in repetitive action over a period necessary to achieve their goals. There's an intent, a wish, but no meaningful movement forward. These people lack what's probably the missing key to the door leading to accomplishment: self-discipline. Discipline is a controlled effort that requires self-restraint and obedience to specific rules, like a schedule. Discipline generally gets a bad rap, as it sounds unromantic and tiresome, and reminds us of the strict regimes of militaries and boarding schools. But self-discipline gets the job done. Moreover, self-discipline often leads to inner peace, as structure and predictability.
I need to work so hard on myself. Like, that's really why I'm doing this. I need to work on my self-discipline. Yeah.
Self-discipline often leads to inner peace, as structure and predictability reduce stress evoked by uncertainty. The Stoics considered discipline a virtue, along with other related qualities like perseverance, endurance, high-mindedness, and self-control. The Stoics favored hard work and spending their days wisely. Seneca, for example, urges us not to waste our time,
Seneca
but
really
act
is
now as life
Like
is
that
short.
dude, bro.
Marcus Aurelius points to nature,
Him-
concluding
ah!
that we naturally tend to be hardworking. This video explores Stoic philosophy that may help develop self-discipline. If you love reading, the book Stoicism for Inner Peace might interest you. It's
How much is it though? How much is you charging for it though? You know what I'm saying? Let me see that price. Oh, what? It's free for Kindle. I got the book. I'm gonna read it, and on my second video, I'm gonna talk about it.
links below.
I already got it, dude. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, so I'm calling you dude.
The
Stoic
Cambridge
way.
Dictionary describes self-discipline as the ability to make yourself do things you know you should do, even when you don't want to.
Yes.
Making oneself do certain things requires self-control to resist engaging in activities that don't contribute to our goals. Also, it requires a drive to get to work and a target to work towards.
Yeah.
So if we do what we should do and refrain from what we shouldn't, we're disciplined. Which sounds easy, but for many it isn't.
It's not.
These three dimensions, if you will, namely self-control, work and aim, were praised by the ancient Stoics and are thus embedded in Stoic philosophy.
These niggas' hairlines is
Even
crazy.
though the Stoics sought inner peace, they weren't lazy. They knew that living in agreement with nature meant, for us humans, using our bodies and minds appropriately by being productive, active, and contributing to the whole. We're not to waste our inherent attributes, we ought to use them properly. Epictetus argued that the engagement in adversities made Hercules Hercules.
Hold on. I'm sorry, but no woman's waist is this small, bro. That's crazy. What? Okay.
To waste our inherent attributes, we ought to use them properly.
It's a good painting, though.
Epictetus argued that the engagement in
scenery looks
adversities
nice.
made Hercules Hercules. What would have become of him if he had not used his powerful physique and noble soul? The world offered him challenges that called a strong man like Hercules to take up, as he was built for them and not for snoring away his life. By following his natural inclinations, he not only developed into a hero, he also contributed to society by getting rid of many dangers to his kin. It was a win-win situation. So how do we build self-discipline according to Stoic philosophy? Let's explore some relevant Stoic ideas. Epictetus stated that we should treat life as a banquet. If a dish stops in front of us, we should take some in moderation. If it hasn't reached us yet, we shouldn't grab it. If it passes us by, we shouldn't stop it. But even better would be if we can reject what's set before us. Such strength makes us divine. Self-control is a vital part of being self-disciplined. Through self-control, we can restrain ourselves from not doing things we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Working towards a specific goal, for example, writing a thesis, is theoretically a simple task. We just need to put in the necessary hours of research and writing to finish it. However, in reality, people struggle with such an undertaking.
That's a fact.
For a significant part, this struggle exists because of how they handle distractions. Unfortunately, we have no control over the distractions life throws at us. As Epictetus mentioned, things not in our control are whatever distractions. Unfortunately, we have no control over the distractions life throws at us. As Epictetus mentioned, things not in our control are whatever are not our own actions. But we have control over how we position ourselves towards the things we cannot control. Regarding distractions, we can't
Hold on. We have control of our positioning towards the things we cannot control. Essentially saying that you have the control to give yourself the best advantages towards situations that are out of your hands. Like what I'm hearing so far, I ain't gonna lie to you.
ourselves towards the things we cannot control. Regarding distractions, we can't control people inviting us for drinks, the latest season of our favorite television series being released, or people trying to bring us down by criticizing and opposing us. No matter how much we try to resist, the world will always have plenty of things to offer that potentially grab our attention and persuade us to change our minds about our choices. It's probably only increasing due to technological developments. Of course, we can influence the number of distractions we're exposed to by limiting our contact with the outside world and arranging our living environment accordingly. But ultimately, the outside world, including our close environment, is up to fortune. So what can we do? We can strengthen our self-control. We can bolster ourselves against inevitable distractions, reinforcing our resolve to finish what we wish to finish. If we have the strength to reject what's set before us, temptations will not sway us from our cause. Self-control takes practice. We must master it through exposure and repetition, so we invigorate our ability to restrain. The more we conquer distractions and temptations, the less powerful they become. If these temptations have no or limited power over us, we experience what the Stoics call freedom. Within the context of discipline, it's the freedom to do what we intend to do. Freedom in the sense that outside circumstances do not control our actions. How can we get things done if we're not able or willing to work for it? From the Stoic perspective, work is not only important, it's also what we're designed to do. Everything in the universe has its place, and as humans, we're granted unique capabilities to serve the whole. Therefore, the Stoics consider industriousness a virtuous characteristic. It's in our nature to work, they believe. In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminds himself of his tasks as emperor and as a human being. He is here to work and to serve, not to lay in bed all day, doing nothing. I quote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for, to huddle under the blankets and stay warm?" End quote. Yes, it may feel much nicer in bed, but the Stoic emperor reminds himself that he was not born to feel nice. He mentions how plants, sparrows, ants, spiders, and bees perform their tasks. These living beings work to put the world in order and participate in ways that nature has assigned to them. Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? Marcus Aurelius asks himself. Of course, we can't toil day and night. We also need to sleep and relax. But as Marcus Aurelius stated, nature set a limit on that, as it did on eating and drinking. End quote. So there's a time for relaxation and a time for work. Courage is a cardinal virtue in Stoicism. The Stoics subdivide courage into endurance, confidence, high-mindedness, cheerfulness, and industriousness. Industriousness is a vital part of being self-disciplined. It's the habit of being active and occupied. If we're working towards a goal, just self-control isn't enough. We need to be industrious and do what needs to be done consistently. But how can we be industrious? How can we prevent ourselves from being lazy and procrastinating? Marcus Aurelius makes an interesting statement about the cause of laziness and one of the ingredients of being industrious. I quote, "In earnest, you have no true law for yourself. If you had, you would love your nature and honor her wishes. Now, when a man loves his trade, how he will sweat and drudge to perform to perfection. But you honor your nature less than a turner does the art of turning, a dancing master the art of dancing." End quote. According to this passage, laziness means a lack of love for oneself or one's natural tendency. A lazy person doesn't love that he is naturally inclined to be industrious. If he did, he would embrace his nature and get to work.
I'm lazy, right? But I have a fierce passion to achieve my dream. Like I work hard enough for me to inch closer day by day, but I could be working way harder to get there, you feel me? But to hear him say that I don't love myself enough to respect my dream, that's a good one. That one's really hitting. He has a point in a way that it's making me angry.
So, extrapolating from this idea, we might want to arouse our love of being industrious. Instead of seeing it as a form of punishment or condemnation, we might want to see it as something enjoyable. After all, it has been a natural, inherent part of human life since the dawn of time, although in different forms and intensities. We also might want to seek something that fits our individual natures. Hercules, for example, was fit to protect the weak because of his strong, athletic body.
Yeah.
Other people might be better fit for writing, art, or scientific occupations. Nature has given each of us unique characteristics. From a Stoic point of view, our task is to honor and use them productively and to serve the whole.
The star in the sky.
As Seneca stated, life is short and we're wasting most of it. How many people wander through life without aim, without any overarching goal they point their energy towards? To truly get going, we need a finish line to run towards. We need that star in the sky, whatever it may be, to climb towards. The easiest way to live an undisciplined life is not having a specific goal. If we don't have goals or sub-goals, we're quick to put our energy into things that don't serve anything long-term, or we do not act at all. As Marcus Aurelius stated, and I quote, "There's likewise another sort of roving to be avoided, for some people are busy and yet do nothing. They fatigue and wear themselves out, and yet aim at no goal, nor purpose, any general end of action or design." End quote. In the modern world, we may wear ourselves out by partying, drinking, playing video games excessively, or binge-watching television series. It's not that we're not doing anything, we just spend our time and energy on mainly short-term pleasures. And we work simply to keep riding the hamster wheel of small pleasures and consumerism. To many people, life seems pointless, and amounting to something bigger, like realizing their dreams and ambitions, seems impossible. But most likely, they're missing aim, which could be because of fear of failure, but also because nowadays there are so many options that it's difficult to choose one direction. The paradox of choice confuses many and causes people to want countless things but end up with nothing substantial.
He's essentially saying that people are lost, probably a very large factor in causing unhappiness.
Will we, out of aimlessness, let others make choices for us, even though we can make our own? Will we travel aimlessly, or rather be traveled through life like leaves in the wind? Or will we exploit our only true power, which is our ability to choose and act? Being self-disciplined becomes much easier if we have a strong and clear aim.
Oh my gosh, he's making it sound so simple. We do have the ability to choose and act. It's literally as easy as saying yes or no. For some reason, that yes seems like a wall that you have to climb over, and the wall is super slippery.
Being self-disciplined becomes much easier if we have a strong and clear aim. We generate purpose for ourselves by embracing a solid reason for getting out of bed every morning. And the more we work towards that goal, the more steadfast we generally become. As we keep an eye on the finish line, seeing it getting closer every day, we build self-confidence as we realize that we can get things done. Observing progress motivates us to continue. It prevents us from drifting blindly from one hunch to another. We'll get things done, even if we don't want to, because that star in the sky shines brightly upon us and rises far above everything that doesn't matter, leaving it in the shade where it belongs.
Wow.
Thanks for watching.
Eisenganger, you're going crazy, bro. I like that. I tried. What did we learn? I believe I'm resonating with Stoicism pretty heavily. We're going to study some more schools of philosophy, of course, but for a first pick, Stoicism seems to be a great choice. It talks about self-discipline, addresses like one of my biggest issues, getting up in the morning. Bro, I want to get up at 6 every day. The goal is to get a proper amount of sleep while also utilizing all the time I have in my day to maximize the amount of content I can produce. Because the goal is to build the channel. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to continue growing. To see that Marcus Aurelius dealt with the problem of wanting to stay in bed to a Roman emperor kind of makes me like this school of philosophy even more, because what he says to deal with that like really struck my core. Basically saying if you don't get up, then you don't respect your dream, and if you don't respect it, how can you expect the world to? I like that a lot. Okay, I think that's it. I think that is it. It's been your boy Tribe Loui. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I really do. I really hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all learned something, and I hope you are willing to walk alongside me on this philosophical journey. Enough of me. No, seriously. I'm gonna leave y'all be. It's been your boy Tribe Loui. Good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night, good morning, and most importantly, but unfortunately, goodbye, man. I will see y'all.
It's the end. Leave a like and share it to your friends and your kin. When I post a video, I'm gonna need y'all to attend. Thank you for the view, but I ain't done with you. 2023, I'm about to be Jordan with the flu. Yeah, join the tribe. Yeah, join the tribe. I'm gonna need y'all to subscribe.